Okay, we are good.
All set?
Yes.
Okay, it's 1 o'clock. I'm going to call the August 4th Board of Commission meeting to order. Today, we're going to have the prayer by Commissioner Heberlin, followed by the pledge by Commissioner Ballard.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather together as commissioners, make decisions for our community. And Lord, we just pray for the voting today, that people would vote with the right mind and make the right decisions for the leadership of not only our community, but for the state, for our country. We give you the honor and the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Leslie, roll call, please.
District 1 Chairman John Block.
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Roger Ballard.
Present.
District 3 Commissioner Gary Heberling.
Here.
District 4 Commissioner Bill Sarkella is absent. District 5 Commissioner Christine Lee. Here. District 6 Commissioner Evans Ehart.
Here.
And District 7 Commissioner John Moody is absent, but we do have a quorum.
Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
I did speak with both Bill and John and knew they were going to be gone today. We'll look forward to having hopefully both of them back in 2 weeks. Next up will be the agenda for today. If there are no deletions or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Motion. Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ehart, supported by Commissioner Ballard, to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. Next up will be our meeting minutes from July 21st. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard, support by Commissioner Heberlin, to approve our meeting minutes from July 21st. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Correspondence you would have received through email from Jody the other day. So we're going to move into commissioner reports, and we'll start with Commissioner Ehart.
I have nothing to report.
I have nothing to report. Christine?
I guess you guys saved it for me. I was at Brown City meeting and their Tahoe needs new brakes on their police vehicle. Would like to purchase. Want to know if they wanted to purchase 4296 Main Street. Water meters, they talked about that. They had their audit report. They agreed to 5-year contract with their auditors. They decided to pay off their skidster so they won't have to pay on the interest. Fire authority and the fire authority agreement, they reached an agreement with the fire authority. They appointed Michelle Sanders to the park board, and they wanted to know if they wanted to purchase the 4296 Main Street because it's on back taxes and what they want to do, and they decided to table what they want to do with that. The resource officer, 3-year contract ended. They agreed to a new contract. Trees in the park, they were taken down. There was some that with Little League and stuff, it was kind of dangerous. And the water meters are 50% installed. Flynn Township, Santa County Drug Task Force annual report, Lieutenant Moore was there and explained things to them. They talked about the team program and the DARE, how they changed the team program from the DARE program, where team program covers grades K through 12, where DARE was only 5th grade. And they talked about prevention and drop-off boxes throughout the county for your prescription meds, and reminded everybody to vote on August for the millage. They were approved for the tire recycling event for one trailer. They have to use the permit by 12/31/27. They're going to think about doing it in October. DTE payment for fire run for down wires. Then they talked about gravel, whether to get 22A or 21AA. And they decided to get to 21. They switched to 22A and they're getting it from Weber's. The ordinance on the webpage is up to date. And they need to appoint someone to fill Jeff Kiesler's trustee position, and they did that. Okay, Maple Valley, again, we talked about gravel. They had a drug test, DTE in a drug house in the township. DTE let them know that that house was probably a drug house because of the gravel, the electric, that's what's going to it. PEC. MTF bonds up to 300,000, up to 15 years for the street project. The resolution 072826 was passed. Millage on the fire department millage is on the August election. They want to use this millage to buy a new fire truck for Elk Township. Hose testing was done. And pumper truck, lifetime warranty on truck body, pumper and paint, not lifetime. They build the complete truck in-house. They keep the specs on all the trucks that they build so that if you ever have to go back, they could just bring up that paperwork for those trucks. Again, I listened to the drug task force this time. It wasn't Lieutenant Moore, there was a different officer that did a presentation. They talked about the golf outing that Elk Township and Brown City firemen were doing. Okay. And they're having family fun days in Peck on August 15th at the park from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. In Elk Township, farm stands are allowed with no building permits. They stopped work order on a pool. They will check with the county why that was stopped. And then there was a deck that was going on a house that did not meet the setbacks. And the fire department basically gave the same report to the PEC as they did to Elk Township. Gravel, Scott from the road commissioner was there. He told them what roads they got gravel for and chloride, and they voted to get the gravel for that, and that is it.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. Gary, also.
Thank you. I attended the Watertown Township meeting last Thursday. They had it last Thursday instead of today, because of election. So, I'm not gonna give every detail. It's all fair to cut it short. So, in that meeting, they talked about the Eagle Grant progress for projects and solar construction. They covered the walking trails and woods, pavilion, mausoleum and cemetery culvert on Applegate Road, which had 2 culverts, I believe. They said it's cost $70,000. Eagle will cover that. Extended hall parking lot, paint railing for the front hall. And talked about a new furnace and a water heater, and then they got into some more detailed things in the meeting. And currently there's no job description for board members. They need, there's people been resigning. So they're going to eventually need a person to cover the sewer and water here in Sandusky and the meters. And meters they still have 13 to go to put in here, and they want to get that done as quickly as possible. They said because the city would be anxious to take over that shortly. They also talked about Sullivan Drive property. That's been they've been battling this for the last 30 years to get to demolish a house and get rid of it. So they talked about going back to their attorney again and try to get some things going on that. So in my report, I did not go to the Sandusky City Council meeting last night because we've been camping over in the Brown City campground since last Friday. So it was easy to sleep in this morning. Yeah.
It is summertime. You gotta take a little time sometime, right?
That's right. You know.
Good report. Thank you, Gary. Roger?
Last Tuesday, I attended Evergreen Township's meeting. They only meet every other month. Cody from San County Road Commission was there, answered questions and a lot of discussion on roads and gravel. That's always a discussion in the townships. And he had some recommendations for them. They're having some issues with the road detour that's all due to the construction of the bridge on the Cass River up on 53. People don't want to follow the recommended detour. So I guess the sheriff's department's been quite busy. Semis are not going where they're supposed to. So good revenue for the county. They approved language for the road millage renewal to go on the November ballot. Marlette, City of Marlette held a special meeting on the 22nd of July. I wasn't at that one, but they had decided to not do a street project up in town as there wasn't enough funding. Well, then the state came up with more funding and made it more appealing. That, along with a state appropriation that was requested through Representative Greg Alexander's office, was not included in this year's fiscal budget. So no matching funds will be required. So that freed that up, as well as an appropriation from Representative McLean's office. That was reduced from 3.4 million to 1.5 million and won't happen until next fiscal year. So that also freed up some money that they were anticipating using on that. So they can go ahead and do that street project. And that's all I have for now.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Evans, you had something come up?
Yeah, I forgot to say, I didn't go to my township meeting, but I just stopped and talked to the secretary and just updated them where the county stands on if the township opposes, the windmills and data centers, all that. If the township itself opposes it, that the county would also step in and help the township when their needs. So
That's good information to get out there, Evans, because if we don't go and tell them, they're not going to know that that's an option for them.
I did mention that as well.
Yeah.
Did you?
Evergreen.
Any feedback? I'm sure they were happy to hear.
They're very appreciative to know that there's somebody behind them.
my township, they talked about it recently, but they don't even see, because my township's pretty much already full of other stuff, that they don't even see stuff like that even coming into ours. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Evans. And I'm gonna actually add something in on mine too. I realized Marion Township completed their new ordinance book and that got done. And I got to give a shout out to the road commission. I had a constituent reach out to me. As we all know, we don't deal with the roads here at this counter, but they do. But she copied me on an email. She had a concern about her road. The road commission was out there the next day and had it fixed. So I think they did a great job. They're very reactive to a resident's concern. So that was good to see. Does anybody have anything further they'd like to discuss for a commissioner report? Seeing none, Nathan, your administrator report, please.
Yes, thank you. I was just looking at an email that sent yesterday. I'm hopeful that you guys are receiving my emails. We did have that changeover where we went to .gov. I know some of you guys, when I email, some things are going maybe to junk emails. So I just wanted to remind, I did send a couple emails in the last week to the group. I did get some bounce backs, but then I think I got it to everybody's correct emails. So we're just going through some growing pains with the new email system. I know you guys have encountered some things too. So hopefully we'll get that all cleaned up and communication will be very fluid through email. With that being said, I sent you guys yesterday, I thought it was a good analysis. Economic development worked on target industry analysis. It kind of analyzed some of the main industries in the area, the economy, how it works around that. I thought it was a good follow-up to our master plan, kind of focused on our economics within our master plan. And again, obviously agriculture is the bread and butter here. So honed in on that and everything that kind of flows around that industry. But in regards to, I know you guys kind of closed on talking to the townships again about county support with wind and solar. We do have another meeting today. There's a meeting with Rev Renewables regarding the Riverbend Wind Project. We had met a couple weeks ago with them in regards to the solar project. It's very basic information, I guess, we received from them. There was also a meeting last Thursday, which they call a technical conference, that I participated in, as well as Foster and Swift counsel for not only the county, but the townships on that, and Speaker in Fremont. They were a part of that. Again, they laid out kind of approximate number of turbines, approximate turbines they would be using, timelines, number of workers. It was pretty basic information, but that was about, and probably an hour and a half meeting. Folks from the Public Service Commission were on that call too, so they could ask questions as well as townships, county. There wasn't too many questions because a lot of the information was fairly well known, but there were some from the Public Service Commission, and some of it will get answered through email in the future. As you guys are probably aware of, we do have election day today. The group will be working hard through the evening to get everything calculated. So Leslie's here. She'll be got a long day ahead of her, and hopefully maybe not
Hopefully not
days.
too
Yeah. So they do a great job with that, though. Also, in regards to email, I plan to forward something to you guys. I had a phone call last week with Stacy Fox, who represents the Roxbury Group out of Lexington. I talked to Commissioner Ehart about this a little bit. She was hoping to have the commissioners come out to an event she's holding towards the end of August. Kind of like just a little economic summary of some things that are going on in Lexington. I think she's looking at Alyssa Slotkin coming out, and just wanted to invite the commissioners out and kind of make it an event for everybody to meet and greet and see some of the progress that I think the Roxbury Group has done to try to support Lexington. So I will forward that on to you guys as soon as I get that as well. So that is all I had
Nathan, when did you send a EDC email out? Yesterday?
yesterday morning.
I'm still not getting emails from you. The only one I got is the one you sent out
Last week,
to John and I, and he responded. I've checked my junk email. I've junked,
Okay,
I'm not getting it.
okay,
I didn't get your email yesterday either, but what I would do is go into your email, and this is what I'm gonna do, because Nathan now has, it's the same email address, but it's .gov. Actually add that to your contacts. That might help keep that email from going into like a junk or a spam
No,
folder.
it's not going anywhere.
No,
okay.
Not,
Yeah.
period, not getting anywhere.
I'll work with IT on that.
Bam.
I was wondering, I see very limited responses at times, and I'm thinking, I don't know that you guys are getting.
I-
that.
the last one I got from you was July 30th.
Oh, yeah, there's been obviously three. or four.
I would have to be on my computer. I can't do it on my phone,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna have to check that. I made myself a note, so.
Okay,
I'm gonna have fun.
okay,
He just straightened mine out today. It's been ever since that email went out.
yeah,
I messed them up. I've got 56 in my inbox
okay,
and 30 in junk, so guess what I'm doing after.
okay.
Does anybody have any further questions for Nathan in his administrator report? Seeing none, we're gonna move on. Thank you, Nathan.
Yep.
At this time, I'm gonna call for public comments pertaining to the agenda. Are there any public comments pertaining to the agenda today? Seeing none, we're gonna move on. Next up is a presentation. We have the 2025 audit report by Clark Schaefer Hackett. Cody Mitchell is here. Cody, welcome.
Cody,
That's not Cody.
Oh,
Not here today.
oh, okay.
My name is Amr Laskari. I'm the signer on the engagement and responsible for the audit. I also have Hannah Bidenhouse. She's the senior on the audit. Am I okay?
If you want to move that podium just a little bit, and that's perfect. Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna cover the audit for starting from January 1st, 2025 till December 31st, 2025. So all the numbers we're gonna be talking about, especially if it's investment related, it's gonna be as of that day. And of course, the market change every day, except for pension numbers, which would be December 31st, 2024. That's what we do in the auditing standard. They require us to use 1 year behind for the pension specifically, because their data wouldn't be available now. And for consistency, everyone will have to use the 1 year behind. So on rare occasions, you might hear that market is up or the market is down. That will be varying. We're talking about pension or investments. That might have a little bit of confusion. So I just wanted to clarify that at first. On the audit for this year, we had 3 reports. The first report is on the financial statements, which is unmodified report, meaning all the numbers presented in the financial statement that was provided to the state is clean, no errors in them, and there was no modification needed to that audit report. The second report is the government auditing standards, and that usually covers on internal control, abuse of funds, or just the process of how you're managing financials and financial reporting to the financial statements. That had one material finding, and that was related to the component unit on the drain commission. There was small adjustments made there. It was a one-time adjustment from the prior auditor transition to us. I don't believe this will be repeated, and it's not misappropriate or management of full money. It's just more for financial statement reporting. So I don't think it's a big concern, but it happened, and I just wanted to make sure it's communicated. On the third report is an informed guidance. This is specifically to federal grants, and that the money is spent in expectation with all the regulations imposed by the federal agency or the grantor agency from the federal government, and that has no issues. That's clean opinion, the highest you can get as well. So overall, strong audit, good results, no issues there. On the next slide, okay, that's the right one. There was a new accounting standards this year, GASB 102, which was implemented in the financials. No issues from that. I just required to communicate it. And the third bullet point here, we discussed the finding already. And also there was no lack of no transactions with lack of authoritative guidance, which we would call it creative accounting, meaning the county done the transactions you do is the standard transactions for a county, nothing unusual, nothing required different accounting or creativity in the accounting. The other two bullet points related to management, we're required to report to you our interaction with management, and it was very good. They were very fast to respond to requests. Everything we asked for on our request list was already prepared and was sent over within timely manner. From an audit perspective, it's very important that when I make a request, I don't feel that they going to prepare something to answer to me. It's already been prepared. They're doing it anyway, part of their internal control. So nothing would give you the feeling that anything is not original document. So that's very good. Management have cautious on reporting everything accurately and in timely manner as well. So that was a very good interaction with management there.
So Nathan, is he saying, can you back up, sorry? Bullet point number 3, material audit adjustments, posted correct capital assess asset. Is that what you were talking about a couple minutes ago that you found? Same thing? Okay, all right.
We're required to report it into the letter to you, and that is actually a full letter in writing. And I know also Cody would have chatted with a couple of you on the phone as well to hear if there is other areas that require risks or something. But that's another audit procedure that we have to provide you that in writing.
Thank you for your explanation.
So this kind of the first part is the reports. Is there any questions on the reports other than that? The rest is going to be numbers and change trends from year to year. So this is what's going to be covering both sides, the governmental and the enterprise. This is county-wide, including the component units and the other areas, other funds. The biggest change on the balance sheet is really related to capital assets, which is for building additions. There was some improvement there in capital assets. Some liabilities, which is the deferred outflow, decreased, which is going to be the same thing. For the same reason on the next slide, the liabilities both were changed and reduced because of the pension liability has reduced based on the timing of the market and how the market performed. That will change every year, and that usually for consistent for all governmental entities, it's a very large liability on the balance sheet, and it really changes based on the market, and it will take all your financial either in a positive direction or a negative direction based on that. How did the market do on December 31st for the year? But also liability had some reductions because of the scheduled payments on paying debt. So principal was being paid. On the next slide, that's net positions. That is usually the net results of revenue minus the expenses. As you can see, it's going up That means the county is having more income than expenditures, which is good trend with budgeting. Usually there is grants and other issues that help with that, and property taxes we'll discuss a little bit later. On the next slide, we kind of take the net possession number and break it up into 3 buckets. These are reported on the financials. This one would match exactly the financial statements, but I'm actually going to flip to the next one to discuss more. If you noticed on the previous one, this was a deficit, and this one it's unrestricted. The difference is that we excluded the pension liability. So when you have the pension liability on the books, it looks like you have deficit. But once you elevate that liability, because it's not true liability, you're not going to cut a check and pay it today. So we like to remove it because this would be more relating to your operation on day to day. But this unfortunately doesn't match with the financial. That's like an extra calculation we do for you. But we feel that this visualization helps. The other 2 is the net investment in capital assets, which is very standard to be the type that's going to reflect roads, any infrastructure you have in the county. And you want to continue to have that balance high because it shows that you continue to invest. This balance will go down on its own because of depreciation every year, but the county make additional investments in capital assets and infrastructure that keeps it up. Also, we subtract from that column any debt related to these specific fixed assets. So if you bought a building that you're financing, it will not, like if you're financing at 100%, it won't show on that column because there is debt related to it. Only debt that you already paid for in cash, it would show in here. Restricted, usually that factors grants that is in progress. On the next slide here, this is going to be governmental activities specific only. We're not talking about the whole county anymore. We're talking here about the general fund and the other governmental funds relating to that. You can see the orange bar is the revenue, the blue bar is expenses. Expenses is holding up steady for the most part, just a small uptick from wages increases and just cost of pensions as well. That's a small increase there for the revenue. That increase in 2024 was specifically for COVID money. There was some additional funds recognized in that year, and that's kind of made 2024 skewed a little bit out of the metrics. But when you compare 25 to 23, revenues is also comparably going up in a good trend. On the next slide, here we'll discuss a little bit specifically on the general fund. And again, the revenue has the same uptick in 2024 because of the federal funding. And the expenses actually, because it was paid with some of these grants, it was reduced. It would have been captured in other funds based on where the grant impacted. So 2024 is a little bit skewed by the federal funding, but again, 2025 showing comparable revenue to 2023, expenses also increased because of some of these personnel costs. On the next slide, that is the property taxes. You can see it's going steady up, which is what you would want to see in a good county. If this goes at a sharper, usually there was a reevaluation year for the taxes or property was evaluated again, which could cause a little bit of a stress on the citizen to pay. So you don't want to see a sharp increase. Also, you don't want to see a decline because that means the property's value is not going good, whether people are moving or there is underlying issues. So this is a very healthy trend, and this is what you would want to look for. And it is a slight increase, steady, but slight over time. On the next slide, this is the fund balance for the general fund, which is summarizing the revenue and the expenses. And again, you can see the same uptick in 2024, but here it's more defined. The 2025 is performing still better than 2023. The next part, and I'll take care of that, we're going to be switching more to the business side.
Yep. So now we're going to discuss the business type activities since Amar covered all the governmental funds. So here's just your net position of the business type activities over the years. You can see that it's been slightly increasing each year, with the main increase this year being in the tax foreclosure proceeds fund. And then on this next slide here, you'll see similar slide to what Amar went over with the governmental activities. This is just your business type activities with your net investment capital assets, which is all in the Transportation Corporation Fund, and then the remaining of the net position being unrestricted for the rest of the county funds.
Just for context, could you define, so everybody's aware of the difference between the governmental and the business type, side of things a little bit?
Yeah, so like you mentioned, like the business type would be the tax foreclosure, medical care facility. These types of funds, for governmental would be if roads, general fund, those would be your governmental activities. And also by nature, the business type is usually seen as self-sustained funds. They don't receive as much grants as governmental. They are more of just an operational as business. So operate like a business, that's why it's called business fund. But governmental, they usually run more on grants and for more public benefits. Usually they kind of seen most of the funds, there is a lot of funds will be, you have over 100 funds, but in total, but these funds would tend more to look like a not-for-profit or more to support the community. That's why also when you look at this, these are meant to generate their own profit to sustain themselves. That's why they would have a lot more unrestricted compared to the government. Everything they have, they want to push back to benefit the community. So by nature, you'll find this business activity has the graph would look like this, very different from the other one. Net investment is really high, restricted is very low. This would be flipping right, the opposite would have more restricted to absorb if there is, issues or anything. And they usually also, like the tax foreclosure fund, would eventually transfer money to general fund or other governmental fund to help sustain them. So that's why they would have more unrestricted balance there, which is very typical. And usually like tax foreclosure fund doesn't have much investment in capital assets because they don't have capital assets. So a lot of these enterprise, they don't have like roads or bridges or buildings. That's why they would be smaller on that.
So then here you can see the revenues and expenses. You can see that uptick in 2024 there, relating to the St. Louis Transportation Corporation. I'm assuming it's more COVID funding. They have different auditors, so we kind of just take their report and add it into ours. So the main fluctuations here are all related to that. They just had a decrease in their capital grants and contributions this year of 1.46 million. But you can see that expenses have stayed relatively similar over the past 5 years with some increases. And then here on this last slide, you can kind of see the operating income and losses from the enterprise funds that you guys do have. So you can see those top 4 lines pretty much stay the same over the years, with that St. Louis Transportation Corporation kind of going downward. So this is just including their operating income and loss though. So this doesn't take into account their capital grants and contributions that they're receiving from the federal and state government. That is it. Do you guys have any questions?
Any questions? No. It's one of the best audit reports I've seen in a long time. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
It was nice to kind of, so that's what we're worried about, the unmodified opinion, right? Like that's what we want to see that first, but to go into the financial a little bit was nice to see. So excellent work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I get both of your names before you go?
Amar Elafkari, AMR, Elafkari, ELAFKARY, and
Hannah Beddinghouse, BEDINGHAUS.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
So it's always good to see that and get the unmodified opinion. I think it's important to acknowledge the people that made that happen. Nathan, Christie, administrator's office, and everybody who works in this courthouse that follows the rules you guys come up with. So it's nice to see that we're operating within the zone that we should be and being responsible with the funds and handling stuff the way it should. Thank you, you guys. Okay. We are going to move on from presentations I gotta give it to them. They kept it in 15 minutes, didn't they?
We do that contract.
You know, it's all the things that we work on throughout the year. This is one of the, like, seems to be the most boring one, but really for our jobs, it's the most important one.
Yeah.
And so I make a little fanfare that it's another unmodified opinion. I'm always proud of the fact that we get those done and that the staff works as hard as they do to make it happen. So. Moving on, I see no need for appointments to standing committees or commissioner appointments or even county chair appointments. There are no general resolutions, and so that's going to drop us right into committee reports. We're going to start with Commissioner Ballard.
FA 104, committee reports, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's all right.
I don't want it to be over, no.
We get to have a whole nother meeting after this one, Roger. So.
Let's see, I think the only thing I have is Michigan Works. No, CMH, we had a board meeting last Tuesday. And it's not Michigan Works. I just put it on the wrong line. Last Wednesday, we had a Region 10 PIHP retreat, which is prepaid inpatient health plan. And that is the link to Medicaid public services for mental health and substance abuse or substance use disorders. That was in Lapeer at the Lapeer Country Club, and there were CMHs from District 10, which is St. Clair, Sanilac, Genesee, and Lapeer counties. Heard people from each CMH speak. This was probably the best one. I've only been to one other one, but this was the better of the two. Got a lot of information on different programs and how they do things in their CMHs. And I know there were a lot of notes being taken by our CMH staff. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Roger. Gary?
Thank you, John. Tonight, we have a Parks Board meeting at 5:30. The Buildings and Ground is going to meet, and that will encompass taking a look at the quote we got for Evergreen Park, widening the north loop and adding extending the water and sewer pipes. And that meeting is going to take place tonight in Lexington Park. And then at our 7 o'clock meeting, we're going to talk about the possibility of a new store that we'd like to put up there. And we talked about that in our last meeting, but we're going to talk about now getting quotes and things for that cost. One thing I did forget, and I apologize, in the Watertown Township meeting, I'm jumping back here a little bit. They were going to talk about appointing a supervisor, and then they turned that around at the end of the meeting. They did appoint a supervisor until the general election. And last is our MPPC Quad County Committee. And as I said in the last meeting, Nathan and I attended that, and the review for the public and for the townships and the counties is going to be September 16th. Is that 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. was that?
I believe it's 6 p.m.
6 p.m. I think, and that's going to be at Beatrice and Kingston. So, end of my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Christine?
I missed the Council on Aging, Child Abuse and Health Department meetings because I was in San Diego at a conference that Region 7 sent me to. And the first workshop I attended was on AI, and AI is here to stay, but you can make AI work for you. And one group did this AI program. It took them 18 months to set it up. But they says if you're going to do AI, make sure you set boundaries where they can draw information from. You always got to keep the information up to date, the state and the federal guidelines, because it keeps changing. And they let us get on that app, and it was pretty cool. I asked, I have an older parent that needs help. What support group can I get? And within 20 seconds, it listed all these things that I could get help with or whatever. And then it proceeded to tell me that if I was at this certain age, that I could also qualify for some of this program too. So that was kind of cool. They talked about grants, and if you're gonna start up a new program with grants, make sure when that grant money is done, that program is going to be here to stay. It's not good to start up new program, and then when the grant money is done, you take that program away. You make sure there's got some type of funding. I also found out that Michigan is sitting pretty good as far as our older Americans, as far as other states. And that some of this, I went to some of the workshops and it was like, we already do this, we already do that. So it was good to know that Region 7 is way above other states as far as programs being offered and stuff. So it was a very good workshop.
Very good.
So that's all I have.
Did they put you up in a nice hotel too, hopefully?
Yes, they did.
You didn't bring us anything?
I only had a little bag.
Very good. Is that everything?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for your report. Commissioner Heberlin and I had a planning commission meeting a couple weeks ago. We had some PA 116 applications that were pretty poorly done, so we kind of rejected those and sent those back. Hopefully they get filled out better. And Nathan already covered it. I will be meeting with Nathan and Revenue Renewables at 2:30 today related to the Fremont wind project. And you kind of spoke about it, Nathan, but largely kind of what they're doing, they're checking the boxes for the Public Act 233 timeline. They're required to do these things. And so, but we met with them a couple weeks ago. We had a good discussion. It was nice to share with them a little bit of our perspective, and we were able to kind of give them a sheet that had all the phone numbers and all the contact information of the people they're going to have to work with within the county. So that's all I have. Evans?
I had a community collab, same stuff. I mean, getting the word out there that whether it's HDC, CMH, Region 7, there's hundreds of programs out there to help anybody pretty much in any category of need. So again, spread the words on those and keep it going.
Very good. Thank you, Evans. Another thing to note too, our county clerk is here. I utilized early voting and it was awfully convenient for my wife and I. And it's, you go in and I just, people get really, there's a lot of frustration around voting and security, but you walk into early voting in Salem County and I always see somebody I know. There's a clerk from a township there. There's people I know that are there. I feel very good about it. They always make it a good experience. So thank you for what your office does. It expands. It's just, it was convenient for my wife and I to do it that day. So we did it that day.
And I do it on my lunch hour. I'm here in town and it's very handy. So
Yeah.
thank you.
So I think it's a good thing you guys are doing. And when I walk in there, it's very professional and very well presented. So
Thank you.
kudos to you guys.
And no lineup. You can.
Yeah, there's no line, in and out.
And all the other clerks appreciate it too,
Yeah.
that they don't have to set it up in their townships.
Yeah, I'm very proud of
Good program.
what we've done as a county, from supporting them through Public Act 233 issues to the early voting. I think this board and the county's done a good job of being supportive to the townships, and all of us that go to the townships regularly, we fully understand they need it. They don't
Yeah.
get a lot.
Sure.
So it's good that we can do that. Appreciate everyone's committee reports. I see no need for unfinished business. We're just going to launch right into new business today. And we'll have Commissioner Ballard read them off in Bill's absence. Today, we're starting out with FA 104-26, approval of current claims.
The Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves payment of current claims identified on the accounts payable report dated July 28th, 2026 for the general bank account in the amount of $398,163.77.
I have a motion by Vice Chairman Ballard, support by Commissioner Ehart. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next up is FA 105-26, budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
The Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next up is FA 106-26, approval of the life skills agreement. And this is related to the Department of Human Health and Human Services.
The Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the Professional Counseling Center Life Skills Agreement for fiscal year 2027 at a cost not to exceed $90,000 with reimbursement of 75% through the State of Michigan Child Care Fund, and further authorizes the board chairman to sign the necessary agreement.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Lee. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Next up is FA 107-26, authorization to dispose of a vehicle from motor pool.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the disposal of one family court juvenile division 2016 Ford Explorer with 111,806 miles, VIN ending in 5372 at Albright Auction Services Ambassador, with all proceeds to be deposited in the motor pool fund.
Support. I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Lastly, today we have NFA 011-26, and that is acceptance of the 2025 audit report.
The Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby accepts the 2025 audit report as presented.
Support.
I have a motion by Commissioner Ballard, supported by Commissioner Lee, to accept the 2025 audit report. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. That's going to conclude new business today. At this time, I'm going to call for general public comments. Are there any general public comments today? Seeing none, we'll move on. I see no need for closed session or approval of closed session minutes. So if there is nothing further to come before the Board of Commissioners, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn our meeting at 1:47.
I'm sorry. I worked with Jody to get on.
Finance agenda.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Yeah, we'll be firing that meeting up.
Okay, all right.
Yep, no worries.
Okay.
All in favor of adjourning at 1:47?
Aye. Make that motion.
Yeah, need a motion.
Oh, sorry.
You're okay.
Make the motion.
Support. I have a motion by Commissioner Lee, supported by Commissioner Ehart, to adjourn at 1:47. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion was carried. Thank you, everyone. Set down to Roger.